History rarely begins with shouting. Often, it begins with a single voice that people desperately want to believe. Every era has its breaking news. We just deliver it 930 years too late. Welcome to the Daily Doom Historical Edition. I'm reporting from Clermont in the waning days of November. A chill hangs in the air, the sort that makes men cling tightly to their cloaks and their convictions. Today, Pope Urban II has given them both something to hold on to. He spoke not as a gentle shepherd, but as a king demanding loyalty. He conjured images of Christian pilgrims butchered on roads, of sacred lands defiled, of an Eastern empire begging for aid. And then, with a voice sharpened by calculation, he promised one thing no man can refuse. March east, and your sins are gone. A bargain as old as power. You give your life, the church gives you heaven. The crowd did not roar. They rose, slow, trembling, as if pulled by tides older than reason. Some seek glory, some seek absolution, and some simply seek purpose. Their sincerity is real, their future far less certain. I'm now traveling with the earliest waves, not knights, but farmers, shepherds, widowers, and sons too young for war, but too desperate not to try. They march under the banner of the cross, but they walk on empty stomachs. They pray for protection, they beg for guidance, and they argue constantly because no one actually knows the route. But do not mistake their chaos for cowardice. They believe, truly, that each step carries them closer to salvation. It is the rulers who treat them like pawns. It is the poor who carry the weight. And as they move through Europe, some villages welcome them, others bar their gates. Faith traveling on foot is a frightening sight. Many will die before ever seeing their enemy. They do not know this. They march anyway. Months later, new armies gather, armies with steel, horses, banners that flap like omens. Godfrey of Bouillon, Raymond of Toulouse, Bohemond the Norman, and Tancred, men forged in the violence of their age. They do not take vows lightly. They do not fight lightly. For them, this is not madness, it is destiny. Some seek to reclaim their honor. Some seek to carve out kingdoms. Some truly seek to defend their faith. Urban's words hang over them like a sword. Deus vult. God wills it. Perhaps he does. Or perhaps men simply like believing he agrees with them. But one truth is certain. These armies are no ragged pilgrimage. They are Europe's wrath given armor. I'm reporting now from the siege lines outside Antioch. The walls are tall enough to mock hope. The defenders are disciplined. The Crusaders are cold, diseased, and starving. Men fight over scraps. Horses collapse. Nights echo with whispered prayers and the quiet terror of men who realize God's will may involve letting them die here. And yet, they do not break. A betrayal from within opens a gate. The Crusaders surge in. Antioch falls. But victory lasts only hours before a new army arrives outside, surrounding the city with the same hunger the Crusaders just escaped. There is panic. There is despair. And then, there is a relic. A spear, claimed to be the very weapon that pierced Christ's side, is discovered. Whether holy or a convenient miracle, it spreads through camp like fire on dry straw. Men who could barely stand rise with renewed fury. They break the siege. They win a battle they shouldn't have survived. Faith is a weapon, and it is sharp. I stand now before Jerusalem, sun-scorched, fortified, defiant. The Crusaders arrive as skeletons wrapped in rusted armor. They have endured years of hunger, war, betrayal, and the slow unraveling of humanity. And still, they believe. They build siege towers under the eyes of archers. They pray at dawn. They burn with purpose older than any kingdom they fight for. When the walls finally fall, so does restraint. Jerusalem becomes a furnace. What happens inside is both victory and tragedy, sanctity and slaughter. Men who marched for salvation find themselves knee-deep in consequences they cannot take back. Faith brought them here. War finished the rest. When the city quiets, a cross is raised above the dome of the rock. Jerusalem is claimed. But peace is not. It never is. News spreads across Europe like a hymn sung too loudly. Jerusalem is ours. But here, in the dust and heat, the truth feels different. The Crusaders have not ended anything. They have opened something, a wound perhaps, or a door. For centuries, more armies will march, more kings will rise, more men will kill for the same pieces of earth. Some marched out of fanaticism, some out of desperation, some out of sincere belief that they were doing God's work. All of them were consumed by forces bigger than they ever understood. Reporting from the past, when the First Crusaders marched in God's name, for a future where the same two faiths are still at war. This is the Daily Doom.